The Alexandria City Candidate Council, or City Council Candidate Forum. We're delighted to have all 12 candidates here, and we're so glad to have this audience, and especially our moderator. I'm Lynn Bostain. I'm one of the organizers. There are several organizers, and we're listed in the program. But this forum represents West End. The questions that you'll hear tonight are from the West End residents and West End civic associations. So those are the questions that you'll hear. I would like to introduce our moderator. Before we start, though, I want to remind everybody to turn your cell phones off. I'd like to introduce our moderator, Rebecca Cooper, ABC 7 WJLA TV news reporter and Washington Business Report anchor. Rebecca Cooper has been based in Washington for the last 3 decades, covering the world of politics, national security, and finance from the White House, Capitol Hill, and major federal agencies. From 1988 to 1992, she served as the Senior International Trade and Healthcare Legislative Assistant to Senator David Boren, a Democrat from Oklahoma. Rebecca then went from working on Capitol Hill to covering Congress and the White House, spending 5 years at CNN, 5 years at ABC News, as a producer for 2020, Good Morning America, and World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, and a reporter for ABC World News Now, News One, and ABC Radio. She is the recipient of several journalism awards, including the Peabody, DuPont, Murrow, Cable Ace, and Emmy Awards. Rebecca returned to public service during her tenure as Chief of Staff to the U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Bill Richardson. Rebecca serves on the Greater Washington Area Advisory Board for Child Help, one of the nation's leading nonprofits dedicated to the treatment and prevention of child abuse. A native of Oklahoma City and a visiting professor and member of the board at University of Oklahoma's College of International Studies, Rebecca is an honors student of Duke University and attended the Université Libre de Bruxelles in Belgium and American University in Washington. She's the mother of 3 grade school sons, Max, Gus, and Finn. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Rebecca Cooper.
And for that, I want to thank Lynn and apologize to all of you and to the candidates. I just got more time for my introduction than any of you do, and I want to proceed to break all the rules that Annabelle and Lynn gave me, which is that you're not allowed to clap for anyone, and I'm not allowed to single anyone out. But as a former Senate staffer, I know how much work goes on behind the scenes. So I am going to single out the ladies who served on the committee to organize this and the sponsors. I'm going to start with the sponsors. You can hold your applause for them, but when I call out the committee members, I'm going to ask that each of them stand, and then we're going to give them a big round of applause, because I know from just the emails I received how much work they have put into this event, and it's so important. So I first want to start by thanking the sponsors tonight: Beauregard Heights Condominium Association, Brookville Seminary Valley Civic Association, Seminary Heights Condominium Association, Seminary Hill Association, Inc., Seminary West Civic Association, and West End Residents. So Lynn was true to her word. This is very much a presentation of the community and representing the West End. So now let's all thank the committee who put this together. If you would please stand, it's Lynn Bostain, Judy Cooper, Diane Costello, Annabelle Fisher, and Nan Jennings. I'd like to thank Annabelle. She was my invitee, and I appreciate that. I first want to thank all of you. I love coming to Alexandria. I lived in the district for my first 20 years and just moved into Maryland, but I always wanted to move into the Virginia side, I have to be honest, because I am the mother of 3 small children, and it's such a phenomenal community. So every year I come to Alexandria Spring Forward, and just so amazed by the philanthropy of this community and the bonds that you all have and the concern that you have for your community. And I come here often for stories. So I applaud all of you for being fortunate to be Alexandria residents. But I did want to start tonight, before I go through the rules, with just a moment of reflection on the story that I did today. I just got here from the White House, where I had to report on the very tragic death of Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, and 2 others who still have not yet been named by the State Department, who died in the line of service, giving their utmost to try and protect freedom for others. Ambassador Stevens was an amazing representative of what so many in the Washington area do to protect and serve. And I heard great stories today about how he went over and got into Libya by boat as a single individual and opened up a one-man mission in Benghazi before he became ambassador. So if we could all just have a moment of reflection for those who lost their lives in service of this country overnight. Thank you for that indulgence. Okay, so now to the rules and the people with real power here in the room, and that is Mr. Red and Mr. Yellow. If they would please stand up. Show them why you have so much power. Okay. So here are the rules. There are 2 timekeepers. We are going to have some part of the format where the candidates will be allowed 30 seconds. For that, they'll be given 30 seconds, and then that big red stop sign. For the part of the program, the questions, we're going to be given 1 minute to provide your answer. At the 45-second mark, Mr. Yellow will hold up his 15-second sign, and you'll know that you have 15 seconds to complete your answer, and then the big red stop sign. Now, I have been told by Annabelle that you all are supposed to stay quiet, and you're not supposed to end any of the answers with applause or comments. Now, personally, I won't be too tough on this. I grew up in Oklahoma at a suburban Methodist church where you weren't sure if anyone was awake at all during the sermon because we were just a bunch of Methodists sitting there quieting through the sermon. I come to Washington, D.C. and went to responsorial sermons where people were very much alive and well and answering from the pews, and I loved it. So if I hear a little bit of noise from the pews, I'll know that you're awake and listening, and I won't be too tough on you. But Annabelle may be, and she's one of the ones in charge. Now, for the candidates, as you know, you're going to be given 1 minute, and we're going to be doing questions by topics, and they're grouped into certain, so that we can get through all the questions tonight. Some of you will be answering some questions, others of you will be answering other questions. I'm going to get started, but I do want to note that because I'm a working mom who has very little time to study and do homework in preparation for these types of events, these questions were written for me and suggested by the committee members and the sponsors. If there is any editorial tone to any of these questions, it comes from them and not intentionally from me. I left politics because I enjoy hearing from both sides. I liked covering Speaker Gingrich just as much as I liked covering President Clinton. I like the person who has the most passion for what they do, and I'm sure that includes all of these candidates. So, if you do detect any editorial tone, or if you have any quibbles with the questions, then I will give you Annabelle's email, and you can take them up. So, with no further delay, let me start with our very first question. Oh no, I'm sorry. I've already broken that rule too. We're going to allow each of you to introduce yourself, and for that you're going to be given 30 seconds. We're going to start with Mr. Chapman and go down to Mr. Wood. Mr. Chapman.
All right. Good evening. My name is John Taylor Chapman. I'm a 4th generation Alexandria, and I want your vote for City Council. I believe the next City Council member needs a member that is going to be focused on getting citizens engaged and has a passion for that. They need a member who's going to be focused on looking at the issues of affordability of housing, as well as looking at our schools and providing a quality education, as also making sure we provide and continue to provide, preserve a quality of life in the city.
Okay.
I'm Glenda Davis, and I've been actively working for moving Alexandria forward for over 25 years. I've served on numerous task force committees and advisory boards, and I want to bring new leadership, new ideas. I want to bring independent thinking and problem-solving qualities to council. I have more than 25 years of accounting experience. I'm a licensed teacher in the state of Virginia, and I'm also a licensed amateur radio operator.
Hello, my name is Frank Fannin. I'm your city councilman here in the city of Alexandria. I was elected to the city council in May of 2009. I'm a lifelong Alexandrian, and it's good to be back in the West End. I was born just a few blocks from here. In my childhood, I lived over in Jamestown Village Apartments, and my father actually worked right across the street here in the seminary professional building back in the 1970s. When I got on the city council in Alexandria, I wasn't new to Alexandria, but I was new to Alexandria politics. I saw some decisions being made in the city, and I knew I needed to get involved, and I appreciate you voting in November.
Good evening, I am Councilwoman Alicia Hughes, and I am very proactive in keeping people first to one Alexandria. I am an advocate of preserving our past, safeguarding the resources of our present, and securing our future. During my tenure of council, I have spent a substantial amount of time committed to lower taxes, preserving and protecting neighborhood integrity, and working on issues affecting early childhood development in the city. If you need biographical information, please stop by the table outside to get it. I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Robert Kraus, and I want to ask you a question. Are you angry that homeowners are footing the bill for a city that's addicted to spending? Because I am. Would you like to have $1,400 additional in your family budget each year? I know I would. Then I ask for your vote. If you go to robertforcitycouncil.com, you will see my plan that will get you $1,400 back in your pocket by restoring the 2007 spending levels in this city. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Tim Levine. I've been a resident of Alexandria for 29 years. I want to thank each of you for coming and the Civic Associations for sponsoring this debate tonight. I do transportation policy for a living, so I think I have some skills to offer there. I chair 3 transportation coalitions. I know my way around the budget. I've got 3 daughters in the public schools, so you know that I'm invested there as well. I'm proud of the work I did in my prior term in council, and I look forward to representing you again. Thanks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jermaine Vinci, and I want to thank you guys for attending tonight's forum. I know with our busy schedules, it's hard to make events like this, and I appreciate it. I think the greatest resource in Alexandria is its people, and I believe that City Council has lost sight of that. As a council member, I want to make government more accessible, share ideas amongst one another, and as a community, tackle on the problems that we will face. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gail Pepper, member of the City Council, running for re-election, and I sure hope that you'll consider me on November the 6th when you go to vote. I hope that you'll look at my grip card, and it tells you my vision for the city, and if you'll note the first 8 dots on the front, it'll tell you the kind of things that I value and the kind of things that I have been defending and things that I will be pursuing in the next term if I'm re-elected, and I'm going to count on it. I want to say that my son used to go to this school, and I sat on the PTA here, so I see the stop sign. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Allison Silverberg. I believe that we are all the temporary stewards of this national treasure called Alexandria. And the question that I think is very pertinent is, what kind of a community do we want to live in? I'm the chair of the Economic Opportunities Commission for the city, which serves as an advocate for the most vulnerable. I served on that commission for 8 years. And I lived in the city for 23, mainly in Park Fairfax. I'm dedicated to transparency and public involvement at all levels, as well as fiscal responsibility. We'll get to other issues, as well as affordable housing, of course. Thank you.